Good evening, everybody. It's 8:36 here on the East Coast, and we have some breaking news tonight. The Associated Press and others are calling the election in Virginia for Abigail Spanberger, but we are going to call an election elsewhere that has not yet been called by the Associated Press. Why are we doing this, Michelle? Because I know how to read a New Jersey map when I see one, and I am here to say that I am calling this election for Mikey Sherrill. Mikey Sherrill will become the next governor of the state of New Jersey. She will be sworn in January of 2026. For anybody who has any doubt about that, please don't. Do not wait for the Associated Press to call it. You are hearing it here first, and you can go to sleep knowing that that is accurate information. The reason I can tell you that that is accurate information is that Mikey Sherrill has been overperforming 2021 margins.
Yeah.
Same day vote. In places like Hudson County, Essex County, Mercer County, Middlesex County, turnout is up across the board over the 2021 turnout. It is up also in Republican areas like Ocean County and Monmouth County. So why, do you ask? Am I calling this for Mikey Sherrill? Well, because it will not be enough for Jack Ciattarelli to overcome the early vote that Mikey Sherrill has gained among Democrats and among, it looks like, independents. And so Mikey Sherrill will be the next governor of New Jersey, the first female Democratic governor of the state of New Jersey, which makes me very happy. To also report, New Jersey did have a female governor before, Christine Todd Whitman. She was a Republican. This will be the first Democrat. This will also be the first time since 1961 when Democrats will, or any party will, succeed a two-term governor of their own party. Now, I do want it to be said here that the reason that Democrats elected Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey tonight is the same reason that they elected Abigail Spanberger in Virginia tonight in a landslide, in a race that was not particularly close, for the same reason that you had record turnout here in New York City, despite the fact that you had a unicorn candidate in Zohran Mamdani, and for the same reason that in Cincinnati, Ohio, J.D. Vance's half-brother lost his mayor election to a Democrat. And the reason for all of that is Donald John Trump. I want people to understand that this is a blue wave of the kind that we have not seen in a long time. This is the nation sending a very strong message to the felon in the White House that we will not put up with this anymore. For anybody that was feeling despondent over the last 9 months, for anybody who was thinking that this is the end of our democracy, New Jersey, Virginia, California, probably on track to win Prop 50. It looks like Pennsylvania will be retaining its judges as well.
That's huge. I hadn't seen that yet. That's good.
Huge. So I don't know that for a fact yet, but I believe that will be the case. It is a referendum on Trump. And for any Republicans that say that it is not because he was not on the ballot, well, hopefully he will never be on the ballot again, at least if the Constitution is to be respected, the 22nd Amendment. But it is absolutely a referendum on Donald Trump. It is a referendum on the shutdown that the Republicans are being blamed for, whether they want to take blame for it or not. And the only question that is outstanding, Michelle Kinney, that I will pose to you, and I think it's a rhetorical question, is, are people like Mike Johnson and John Thune smart enough to get the message that voters were sending them tonight? Now, Mike Johnson may not be, because he's trying to gerrymander the hell out of every single district that he can.
That's what I think this is going to embolden this movement even more. They're going to be crazier. They are going to double, triple down on all of their crazy tactics. They know that it's going to be a blowout. And if Democrats control any part of Congress in 2027, they know that it's like, it's over, right? I mean, essentially, maybe not fully, but at least when it comes to Epstein files or an impeachment or anything like that, right? And so I think that they're just going to be crazier. And I think that even we could expect, let's say that there is fair elections, and let's say that is a huge blue wave next November. They will refuse to swear in the democratically elected members of Congress who are Democrats. And I also think that they will try to challenge every single vote. They're going to do 2020 all over again, but more widespread.
They can. It will be a lot harder to do for John Thune because you cannot redistrict the states. Now, they can go ahead and say that every single Democratic seat that Democrats will pick up was stolen. They can go ahead and pretend that Susan
What they're gonna
Collins
say, yeah.
was stolen by Janet Mills, who may potentially be the nominee against her, and therefore the sitting governor also, be presiding over that. They can go ahead and say that North Carolina, which has a Democratic governor, maybe that seat was stolen if Democrats pick up that seat. They can try to disenfranchise the hell out of voters in Texas to protect Ted Cruz, or not Ted Cruz. Sorry, I wish it was Ted Cruz, but it's not. It's the other one. There are all sorts of reasons and things that they can do and that they will try to do. But I will tell you this, and we have a long way to go. We have a year to go until the midterms.
There's a lot of game left.
A lot of game left. But if Donald Trump does not immediately alter course, and I believe that Donald Trump will not alter course, one of two things will happen. Either it will be such a massive blowout next year that we're going to be really at the precipice of a huge national crisis because, of course, he's then going to go ahead and say that the Constitution, that the election was rigged and was stolen. And
absolutely.
Or
he's already done that. Do you know what I'm saying? He's already done that, and he got away with it. And instead of holding him accountable, Mitch McConnell and voters of America, we handed him back the keys of power. And he stood there in the Capitol Rotunda where his supporters carried Confederate flags and smeared shit all over the walls and was sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. And now we're here on November 4th, 2025. And this country is in a tailspin that didn't need to happen. This was all human.
Yeah. Now, the question is Donald Trump going to accept these results, or is he going to say that all of these elections were also rigged?
Well, he's already saying that, right? I mean, it's what he's saying about California.
Yeah, he's saying that about California. Is he going to say that about Virginia, where his ally, Glenn Youngkin, is the governor?
I don't know that he will.
Is he going to say that, he would not endorse the Republican nominee there? You should be going to lose.
Purpose,
is he going to say that about New Jersey? And is he going to lean in very heavily into the whole quote unquote communist thing of Zohran Mamdani, who looks like he's poised in a landslide to be the next mayor of New York? There is not one bright spot for Republicans right now. Not one. And, I want to be clear, Michelle, about what just happened. I just came from NBC. I was on with Hogan Gidley, who is a former, what is he, like a deputy chief of staff or communications director, something at the White House under Trump. Anyway, he's a Trump White House guy. And I don't know if you saw it, but I will tell you this. I went after him really hard because he went and started lying.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Started lying about Zohran Mamdani, but more importantly, started lying about the fact that Zohran Mamdani is a communist, and going after the whole Hamas thing and so on. And I got to tell you, I'm just not going to take that anymore from these people.
No, nor should we.
And nor should we. And then this is how shameless these people are. When I said to him, I don't want to hear and getting a lecture from anybody on anti-Semitism from somebody who supports Donald Trump, who had dinner with Nick Fuentes, he said, he goes, so from people who hang out with Nick Fuentes, we never hung out with Nick Fuentes. And I said, your president, Donald Trump, had him to Mar-a-Lago for dinner. No, he didn't.
What?
Did you watch that?
So I have to admit that in the middle of you talking, I was so excited that you were yelling at this guy that I reached over and grabbed the Apple TV remote and then hit the wrong button. And I was like, God damn it. And Joe was like, what are you doing over there? So I missed that part.
Yeah. And so my thing was like, you guys, I meant what I said when we launched Mayday, but I'm actually losing it so much lately that I'm not even going to put up with it on other people's networks. I'm just not putting up. My husband's like, you shouldn't have gone after him. That really wasn't the time and place. Yes, it was. Like, I'm never going to be in a place anymore.
No.
If I have a microphone in my hand, or if I'm anywhere, as long as my vocal cords do not give out, where I'm not going to call these people out on their
They have
bullshit
to be.
to their face anymore. I'm over it. And I know it's
They
not polite
get
to do.
away with this.
They get away with it because the way it works is this is why Scott Jennings doesn't want me on CNN with him anymore, because I'm not putting up with this bullshit anymore. But you guys, the reason I'm bringing this up is not because it's about me, and I don't want to make it about me. It is because we should not put up with this anymore. And tonight was the first night that I think we all felt like we are not putting up with this shit anymore, that we took it for the last 9 months, that we put up with this shit, and that we're not doing it anymore. We're just not doing it anymore. So, that's all I'm going to say about that. I let tonight be the clarion call for all of us to just not deal with this shit anymore.
Yeah. I listen, as much as we all knew that even if there were losses, what it would mean and that it wouldn't mean, it wasn't a death sentence or anything, right? We, the Democrats, people, not even Democrats, people in opposition of Donald Trump, the independents, the Democrats, anybody else, right? Who is in opposition of this man who is shredding the United States Constitution and making people suffer, not just here, but around the world. We needed a win, and we got it. We're getting it. We're getting the wins tonight that we need to put wind in our sails and bring us into the next year. When I looked at the calendar, Julie, I was like, there's 2 months left to 2025. I still have not processed 2020. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, how in God's name are we here? But we are. And, time goes by quickly. And I think this is exactly what people need to feel energized and inspired to get up and do the work and not be afraid. And I hope that people are reminded tonight that you are not alone. You are not alone. There are millions of people just like you who feel the same, or at least have some things in common with. And those things might be affordability. It might be trying to buy groceries for your family, or put your kid through school, or, pay for your rent or your mortgage, or whatever it is. We're all in this together. And the people who are not in this with us are the people who support Donald Trump still, and Donald Trump and his administration, and the people who work with him. People like Mike Johnson, people like John Thune, people who are still towing the line for him. I don't know what it's going to take for these people to break. I don't think that there will be anything, but I do hope that this gives people what they needed, because I got to be honest, I'm feeling it. It feels good. This feels good.
Yeah. And I want people to understand that this was a big repudiation of the status quo.
It was a first check on Donald Trump since he was inaugurated.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and I want to show this clip here. Dana says, Michelle, you mean the people going to hell? Well, if you believe in hell, yeah, these people might be going there. And Donald Trump says it himself that he's not going to get into heaven. So I want to play this clip of a New Jersey voter who voted for Trump and said he was going to vote for, or he voted for Mikey Sherrill.
Voted for the Democrat, for Mikey Sherrill.
Yes.
Why did you vote for Mikey Sherrill?
I voted for Trump before, but now I look at Trump is different. The economy I don't look good. That's a vote for Democrat.
You said the economy. Also, when we spoke earlier, you mentioned immigration. What is it about his immigration action?
Well, I'm very sad for this, because some people okay, but a lot of people working good. The family is the more important in the life.
Yeah. So immigration and the economy for this gentleman. Again, he's not alone. This is somebody who supported Trump for what God knows why. Donald Trump is very good at selling lies to people, especially people who are vulnerable. But, you know, here we are, and people are suffering, and they know where to look. And that also gives me some hope that people can look
Yeah.
beyond the propaganda and be able to put things together for themselves.
And I want to, I want to talk about Virginia specifically because Virginia was not always a Democratic state. In fact, it's not a Democratic state. And in fact, I would say that last year when Loudoun County came in, which was a swing county in Virginia, when you saw Harris's margins in Loudoun, you knew that Trump was in a good place.
Mhm.
Not in Virginia necessarily. He came close in Virginia, much closer than people thought, but nationally. Look, we said this afternoon, don't freak out about Virginia because Northern Virginia comes in late.
Right.
The rest of the state. You didn't need to wait for Northern Virginia
No, which is
flowing, which is
that's great.
crazy.
Really good news. Really good news.
Yeah. And, you know, Virginia elected a Republican governor as recently as 4 years ago, which is why they have Glenn Youngkin there now. Pennsylvania went Republican as recently as a year ago. New Jersey has gone back and forth, Republican, Democrat governors over and over and over again. In fact, in my lifetime, I think maybe it's been about equal in the last 50 years. So, you know, these states vote blue at the federal level, but they don't necessarily vote blue
Right.
at the state level.
It's nuance, and this is what we were talking about earlier today with the gubernatorial race in the Commonwealth of Virginia in 2021 with Glenn Youngkin, right? I mean, Glenn Youngkin is very Republican, but not like Trumpy.
Yeah.
And I remember for the longest time, his campaign was really trying to hold off on Donald Trump endorsing him. This was after January 6th, but it was also after COVID. And so you had a lot of suburban voters with kids still angry about the lockdown, still angry about, you know, school choice and all this other stuff that they deal with in the burbs. And that was a huge part of this. People had a grievance about this, and January 6th really didn't move the needle for people, which is kind of crazy because, I mean, this again was a time when people were calling Donald Trump the former guy. And, you know, I was at Lincoln Project at the time, and we ran a lot of ads attacking Glenn Youngkin. This was also the CRT. Everybody was talking about CRT and no CRT. I mean, the whole thing is just crazy. And again, of course, after that, it was like, what's CRT? Now it's DEI. But you know, I remember we were watching this race and just seeing, you know, that again, it's a very diverse state. Like as Northern Virginia, you kind of have to run a different race than you are in Southern Virginia. I would even argue that maybe there's 3 Virginias. And you know, all of the ads that we ran against him, it was difficult because he wasn't super crazy, but he was a super rich guy who wore a Patagonia vest everywhere he went, and tried to toe the line to make the Trump base happy, but also tried not to alienate the liberals, and he succeeded. And that's why he was governor for the last 4 years, you know, despite everything.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's people here in the comment, Dickerson Designs, I think you're from New Jersey. You said you were only at 31.5 in Jersey counts, still a nail biter. It's not a nail biter. Don't look at what the AP is reporting. They will always report late. I'm telling you, trust me on this one. Unless you think that every Democrat who cast a ballot in New Jersey cast it for Jack Ciattarelli, he's lost this election. It's over. It's over because you have crazy turnout in the Democratic counties. And unless you think Hudson County is going for Ciattarelli, or you think Essex County is going for Ciattarelli, or you think Middlesex County or Union County, Elizabeth, the city of Elizabeth, which has a very, very, very high percentage of Latinos, this will actually tell the tale as to what's happening with Latinos this year. Our Latinos, so Hudson County, New Jersey, we talked about it this afternoon, Jersey City and Hoboken, very gentrified parts of this county. But the western part and the northern part of Hudson County is very Latino, very Cuban, Puerto Rican, Colombian to some degree, Latino. And those places went for Trump last. They're not going Republican this time around. They're just not. And
I just feel like you'd have to be crazy.
Well,
do you know what I mean? Like
we were wondering whether this was a permanent realignment of the
right.
Latino population now. Do I think Latinos are the ultimate swing demographic and becoming more so now? Yes, I do. They're not going to be taken for granted by the Democratic Party anymore.
Nor should they be,
Nor
because
should
the Democrats always like to show up in the, for the 11 o'clock number and be like, hey guys, we love you, and say
Yeah.
something in Spanish and think that that's going to count.
Yeah,
And it
but
doesn't.
I'm going to be very clear, and I think this is really important to note for people, that Latinos sent a big message
Oh yeah.
In New Jersey, and I believe in, I mean, we'll see what the final numbers there are specifically, but and also I believe in Virginia. They're not going to be taken for granted anymore. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in New York with Cuomo
Mhm.
and the
Which
Asian
those
vote.
polls are closing in 3 minutes.
Yeah, and the Asian vote and the Latino vote, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So I want to be very clear here. Trust me on this with New Jersey. I'm not gonna lie to you guys about this. Don't conflate ICE with Latinos. For people here who think that this is about ICE, this is about small business owners who've been living here for generations. This is about people who are very concerned about the financial bottom line. These are people who are concerned about healthcare costs. This is not about ICE. This is not about ICE. They may have sympathy for people who are going through what they're going through with ICE the way that we have, that Michelle and I, it kills me. But they're not motivated by ICE as much as they're motivated by the economy. Every focus group I've ever seen, and I hate using Latino voters as a monolith because
they're furthest thing from it.
Yeah, that's like saying like people from Russia, where I'm from, and people from like Ireland, where Michelle's ancestors are from. We're all European, I guess. That's kind of stupid, right?
Right.
Latinos happen to speak the same language. Their ancestors happen to speak the same language, and they happen to be ancestors from the same continent, or some of them from North America, some from Central America, but don't conflate. There's not much in common between a Guatemalan and a Cuban, or a Puerto Rican and a Peruvian. So,
and also generationally, right? Because then you're dealing with, generationally, there's a lot going on there too. And even in terms of conservatism, and there's a lot of Catholicism. There's like so many things. And that's why that they-them ad last cycle was so effective. And like, that was a huge part of the target. It was, Kamala Harris is for they-them, Donald Trump is for you. The first time I heard it, I was like, shit, that's really good. That's really, really good. It was a great ad. And they put a 50-state strategy behind that ad. They put that ad in New York,
everywhere,
in Los Angeles, everywhere, because they wanted to make inroads with people who were uncomfortable with transgendered people, and like however awful that is, they were going to tap into that and make people feel resentful that they were being left behind. And that's why, because Kamala Harris cares about those people, not for you. Donald Trump cares about you. Now we all know here that that's bullshit. But they ran that. And there was times during, Tara Setmayer, who I work with at the Seneca Project, she has this thing where she can watch football games all over the country. And so if there's a Giants game on, instead of watching in the local market, she'll watch it in like Chicago or like LA or something like that. And I remember she would text and be like, they ran this they-them ad like 8 times during the Giants game tonight in like Los Angeles or Seattle or big cities. And so they're willing to spend the money for these messages and try to push the Latino vote, especially, as far as they possibly can. And they do not let up, and they do not take a day off. They just don't.
And let me just say this. The Virginia House of Delegates flipped 7 seats tonight. Democrats did.
Wow.
7 seats tonight so far. That is
crazy.
That is crazy.
Will this lead to like a supermajority? Is that how that works there? I don't know. I don't know Virginia government.
Huge.
Yeah.
Look, you're talking about the fact that Democrats are poised to sweep every single election coast to coast tonight. Coast to coast.
Mm-hmm. I'm just seeing the election updates on my phone. It's just gonna buzz.
You know,
Yeah.
Virginia, she's, it's insane.
This is crazy. This is crazy. And again, like we talked to Eric Cook about this earlier today, which I just have to say as an aside, not having anything to do with politics. I've known Eric for quite a few years. He his partner, Sarah, I know actually from West Side Politics. She ran for city council. She's fantastic. She's a big proponent of open streets. Love it. His last name, Koch. There's the Koch brothers, right, who pronounce it Koch. Then there's Ed Koch. And then I have another friend, Pom Koch. And so I've been saying his last name incorrectly for the entire time that I have known him. It's Cook. He told me today, I was like, just to make sure I'm saying it right, because there's a million ways, and and he's like, oh no, it's like Cook. I was like Captain James Hook Cook, and he said yes. And I was like, God damn it. So anyways, I just thought that was funny that happened today. Having him on made me learn that today. But and I just lost my train of thought. Goodness gracious. What was I just saying, Julie?
I don't know, but I will tell you
the crossroads that the Democratic Party is on. Abigail Spanberger is a very moderate candidate. Mikey Sherrill, I'd argue, very moderate candidate. Graham Plattner in Maine, his controversies have not really dampened the enthusiasm for him in that race. In fact, it's brought more people out. That feels worrisome to me. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Look, I mean, I'm just looking at New Jersey right now. Mikey Sherrill is leading. I mean, this is going to be a bloodbath. She's leading right now with 40% of the vote in. This is amazing. She's leading by 14 points. 14 points in a race that no poll had her leading by more than just a few.
Yeah.
And if you look at what's outstanding, Ocean County, which is the most Republican largest county in the state, 72% of the vote in. They just added some more. Yeah, I mean,
if you could predict right now, I know this is just a prediction, based on what you're saying, what would be the points? Like, how many points do you think she's going to win by?
She could win by close to 10 points.
Wow.
That's
great. Anything really over 5 is like, whoa.
Insane. Oh no, anything over 5, as we said, sends a very strong message.
Yeah. Sure. And I just want to play this clip from CNN about the New Jersey turnout, because I think it's applicable here.
You start here in Hudson County, which is just across. This is Jersey City. This is Manhattan right here. So you're just across. This is a suburb of New York in many ways. And so Democrats this morning were nervous about turnout. Tonight they feel a lot better about it. They think their voters came out here. Then you move over here to Essex County, which is 3rd in population. That's Newark. That's where Cory Booker was mayor. Again, big Democratic base right there, but a place where Donald Trump did a little better last time. Democrats this morning a little nervous. Would their voters come out? They say their voters are coming out, and they say, and we'll see in 18 minutes or so if they're correct, they say that they have managed. It's an off year. It's not a presidential year. It's hard to get people who vote for president but maybe don't vote other times to come out. Democrats say they did a better job than Republicans in turning out what we call low propensity voters. We will see it pretty soon.
Yes, I know, everyone. F. Jake Tapper, he didn't talk. That's why I played the clip. He just happens to be standing there. We can look away. But I think that it's important also to note that Democrats do very well when Donald Trump is not on the ticket. But he is on the ticket. Do you know what I'm saying? I should reframe this. Republicans don't do as well when Donald Trump is not at the top of their ticket. And that also makes me question the future of MAGA. Who's going to be able to carry this movement forward when you don't have the cult of personality that is Donald Trump? Heidi, sorry. I'm sorry. So dumb, but it's so funny. And somebody said, somebody call Tara Setmayer right now. She is actually on a plane on her way to Spain.
Why, why are we supposed to call Tara Setmayer?
I don't know, maybe just because of Jersey and Virginia or whatever. But no, she is on a plane to Spain.
Yes,
not in the rain.
you're asking where is Steve? Are you talking about Steve Kornacki? He was on NBC with me. He's not on
Mhm.
MSNBC anymore. He is now on NBC.
Yep.
So he was actually on with me about.
Mhm.
He's probably there now. Don't flip.
Yeah,
there.
you can watch that on, I think, on their website. We were watching on Peacock earlier,
Yeah,
but
NBC now. He's
Mhm.
on with Tom Lamas and yeah.
Mhm.
So that's where he is. I don't know who they're going to replace him with on election night. That's a good question on MSNBC. That's a very good question. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, Michelle,
Probably as a non-compete, I'm assuming. I don't know. Not my business.
it's not a
but-
non-compete. He's got they split. They're two totally different.
Well, that's what I mean. Like he wouldn't be able to. MSNBC wouldn't be like, can I have him, because he'd be at NBC anyways,
He'd be
right?
doing NBC,
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah.
Somebody else is doing MSNBC.
Yeah.
If anybody knows who's doing MSNBC, let us know. Oh, Velshi's doing it. Interesting. Okay.
Oh,
Love
that
Ali
makes sense.
Velshi.
Actually, that makes sense.
He's a great guy. Love Ali Velshi.
Yeah, I just want to play this clip of Abigail Spanberger walking out to a very loud crowd tonight, because this is pretty cool. Thunderous. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. It's nice. Listen, we love to see it, as the kids say. I just want to play one more thing. Hakeem Jeffries talking about turnout tonight as well.
A route for Democrats all across the country. Now, as House Democrats, what we've said from the very beginning of this year is that we need to relentlessly focus on driving down the high cost of living and fixing our broken healthcare system that Donald Trump and Republicans are making worse by the day. And as long as we stay on these kitchen table pocketbook issues, while of course addressing the extremism that Donald Trump and Republicans continue to unleash on the American people, what we're seeing tonight is going to be replicated a year from now when Democrats take back control of the House of Representatives.
You think they could do the same?
Future speaker, possibly.
Was he at a
I don't
club? What is that?
I think I think he was at one of the campaign headquarters, and it was like they had the music blasting. Yeah, was he at the club? No, he's not. I don't think he's at the
Jen,
club.
everybody in the chat's trying to scare you. We won everything. We're on track to win everything.
Yeah,
Virginia, New Jersey. It looks like Pennsylvania retained their
Mazzy
seats.
Diva, is this correct? Decision HQ just called New York Mayor
Nine-
Race for Mamdani. I'm not terribly shocked. Not terribly shocked.
Not
I'm
terribly
just going- I'm
Not,
gonna-
not a good day for Andrew Cuomo. A really bad day for Donald Trump.
Also, every time I say now, like my husband was watching one of our shows, and he was like, "You say a lot," and I was like, "God damn it!" So now I hear
Oh,
myself
interesting.
say it. It's like, well,
Um,
anyways, let me know if the bother you as much as they bother my husband.
I never even noticed.
Me neither, obviously. Anyways, Julie, what else?
What else, you guys? As much as we would love to be here all night, and if under normal circumstances, I think we would be, we have got to get up and anchor the show tomorrow morning.
Oh my
And I have got to go and do CNN before that at 7:30. And I will be doing the show from some green room at CNN tomorrow.
Oh, you will. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
And just so everybody knows also, if you are a watcher of this network, there is no Over It again this Wednesday. There's people traveling and just a lot going on after the election, appointments and whatnot. So unfortunately, we can't make it work, but Over It, the weekend edition will be back on.
Yeah, we'll be
Saturday.
back. Michelle and I will be back. Tara is traveling. JoJo's got
Still on soccer duty.
soccer duty.
Mhm.
And we will see about Over It on Wednesdays. We might repurpose that into something else shortly. So we'll let you guys know about that because that's becoming just very hard to get to corral. For
Yeah,
people.
just and JoJo has like her podcasts, and she's doing the Siren, which has been wildly successful. We're very happy for her. And there's just a lot going on. So we're gonna see. We're gonna have to recalibrate But it'll be great because we'll still keep on keeping on. Yeah.
May Day, however, is here and will
Yep.
continue to be here. Okay. So as everybody goes to school, sleep, work, whatever you guys are doing tonight, tomorrow, just know that we will be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. We just wanted to pop in to tell you guys about New Jersey before anybody else calls it, because we know what we're talking.
There's people being like, what? I mean, like that. We're calling the Mikey Sherrill wins, or Julie more specifically, because she knows a lot more than I do.
It's over. It's over. I could have told you. It's actually, you know who told Steve Kornacki that it was over? Me at 7 p.m. when I walked into that studio tonight. And he agreed with me because he also was looking at the same numbers. That
Right.
So it's over.
You know, I just wanted to touch on one more thing before we go. You and Bill were talking this afternoon about the conversations that you were having on election night back November 1 year ago, of looking at county by county and seeing the underperformance by like 1-2 points all over the place. And I said to Joe, I was like, the same thing was happening on my couch, because I remember my mother-in-law called and she's like, how are you guys feeling? I think it was like 7:15. And Joe's like, I don't know. I feel like we're pretty optimistic. And I was like, I don't, no one should. You should all be really freaked out. And she was like, no. And like, people weren't really like believing me yet. And I was like, just wait. Because that underperformance, if that is any indicator, the same way that if it's an overperformance, that is an indicator of what's happening pretty much everywhere. And so I was recalling that moment, and especially since tonight is, I don't know how to do math, but November 4th, 2008 was the night that Barack Obama won the presidency. And I was thinking about it tonight. The Obama Foundation posted a video of it today, and it had me remembering what a great night that was. Where were you that night that Obama won, Julie?
Oh my gosh. I was in a press riser covering it, and I started crying. It was the last time I cried during an election night. I started crying because I could not believe that only 7 years after 9/11, this country had come so far that we would elect a Black man named Barack Hussein Obama.
I know.
I just thought that our future was limitless.
Yeah, it really did feel that way.
I was never more proud of this country in my life. I just felt like the promise of America had just been fulfilled in ways that just seemed so amazing after 8 years of Bush and Cheney.
Yeah.
Who died today, by the way, Dick Cheney. But less said the better in that. But so much of that night, we were so young and naive back then, but
but hopeful and
hopeful.
Yeah.
And you know, I guess it's kind of like your first love. Like you're never quite going to have your heart broken that way again, because you always know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I will ever have my heart broken that way again, as my heart was broken 8 years later after Donald Trump won. I was in shock at 16. I was not in shock in 24.
Yeah. It was, as Van Jones put it, a white lash response. And, you know, I remember the summer that Barack Obama was, you know, doing the convention, all that stuff. And we had it on the TV at the bar that I worked at. And everybody's eyes, we had the sound on. I mean, everybody was glued to the TV. It was amazing. People came in just to watch it. And so I remember election night, like I was so broke. I was such a broke person. I lived in like a 2-bedroom apartment. We turned into a 5-bedroom. I didn't have internet. Certainly didn't have cable. And so we went over to my friend's house who was out of town, and she let us use her TV to watch the results come in. And I remember one by one across the Upper West Side hearing screams out the window when they called it. And everybody ran into the streets. They had to shut them down. It was amazing. It was just the best night. And I feel bad for kids that are in their 20s right now, who've spent the last 10 years in the most cynical, the most mean and cruel state of American politics in modern history. And because they never got to know what that felt like.
Yeah.
We came up during a time, at least, I was 26 years old when all that went down. I'm 43 now. And so, speaking of being young and naive, and so a lot has changed, but it was good. It was good. And I hope that these kids now, someday we get there, that someday they will know what it felt like.
Yeah. Well, tonight's a good night.
Yeah.
Tonight's a good night. And I would just say to every, to everybody who didn't think that, I guess we all overthought it, right? In places like New Jersey. And I should have listened to my gut. I mean, I thought New Jersey was going to be very close, very, very close. Every poll showed that it was going to be very close.
Mhm.
I don't think that they, I guess what I should have trusted is my own gut, which is that there's nothing on earth right now that would get me to vote Republican
No,
in New York.
not
next
for any Republican
Any-
anywhere.
year. Like, I don't care if you're running for dog catcher, which has nothing to do with Donald Trump, whereas I might have considered it before if it wasn't a federal race.
Mhm.
Not since Donald Trump got elected. And I guess enough people felt that way.
Mm.
So people, I think we have leaned in too much, and I have to give some thought to really how to phrase this properly. But I
Yeah.
think we've leaned in too much. We're almost like self-flagellating
Mm.
people, where we think we've been conditioned by this man
Mm.
to just trust to just not trust in ourselves.
Mhm. Well, that's by design, right? To not trust ourselves, not trust the things that we hear and say to even be true, to not trust the institutions, to not trust the people in power, which
But to not
that's
trust
valid.
our fellow
Yeah.
voters, that
Yeah.
they're going to do the right thing, because we've been so completely programmed to believe that we're going to be let down.
Mhm.
And I think what tonight, if anything, has to show us is that we should trust in our own people,
Mhm.
in our own neighbors, in our own friends, to do the right thing. That this
Do the
man,
right thing.
this
Yeah.
man has tried to gaslight us.
Yeah.
Believing,
It's abuse. He's
yeah,
he's
he's
abuse.
trying to isolate us to believe that we are on an island and that nobody else agrees with us.
Mhm.
The country just showed that the gaslighting stopped tonight. So don't be gaslit. Don't be gaslit. On that note, you guys, great to see everybody tonight. Shout out to Virginia. Shout out to my home state of New Jersey, specifically to Central Jersey, which delivered big for Mikey Sherrill. If I may, Michelle, just go over a few numbers very quickly.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Yes. So in that magical place that is called Central New Jersey, Michelle, Mercer County, New Jersey, home of Princeton, New Jersey, Mike Sherrill has won by 70. Right now is on track with only 40% of the vote in. She's a 73 to 27. In Middlesex County, my home county, with 83% of the vote in, she is at 63-37. In Somerset County, they have not reported yet, which is pathetic. So I would say that Hunterdon County, 52-47, Mikey Sherrill, that is insane. That is a Republican county. That is crazy. Crazy. That is a rock rib Republican county. She is losing the most Republican counties around by just a few points.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at these numbers. Anyway, Central Jersey came out big for Mikey Sherrill tonight because you know why, Michelle? It's the best part of New Jersey. That's why. Okay. On that note, everybody, we will see you. South Amboy is part of Central New Jersey. Thank you for asking. It is in Middlesex County.
I don't even have any idea where any of these places are, but I just am
Well,
enjoying.
Just trust that they're in Central Jersey. Yes,
In Central Jersey, we trust, right?
Yes. In Central Jersey, we trust. We'll have T-shirts to that effect. South Amboy is in Middlesex County, New Jersey. It is north of the Raritan River. I grew up south of the Raritan River. Having said that, both in Central New Jersey. Thank you for asking. Central Jersey is a part of all our hearts. Yes, it is. Thank you so much. Where does South Jersey start? Thank you for asking, Just Stephen. It starts south of 195, which means it starts south of Mercer County. Thank you for asking. Some people in Tara Setmayer think it starts in Elizabeth. In Union County, she could not be more wrong. It is south of 195,
Well,
south of Mercer County. Thank you for asking.
Next year will be New York's turn in this gubernatorial situation. And the how do I say, the loathing that I have for Elise Stefanik is strong, it's deep, and it's long lived. It's vintage. It's vintage at this point. But I will say we have also a very controversial cartography situation with upstate. What is upstate?
North of 14th Street.
Right. But if you're from upstate New York and you hear people say that, you're like, what are you talking about?
North of
I'm
Westchester.
from upstate. Yeah. People who say that, I'm telling you, if you live in New York's like upstate, if you live in upstate New York and you hear city people say upstate and they mean Westchester, you're like, what?
No, it's north of Westchester. Isn't it north of Westchester?
Upstate's like Albany and Syracuse and where I'm from, and like.
Well, Kev Cox here weighs in and says that Kev Cox is from Great Britain, and he says that Central Jersey sounds very much like Platform 9 3/4 from Harry Potter. Hey, Kev, I have been to King's Cross. And I have seen a sign for Platform 9 3/4. So I know
9 3/4.
I know that that's true. Much like Central Jersey is also true. So it is much like Platform 9 3/4 at King's Cross. I've seen it. And I've seen Central. I've been to the promised land, and it's called Central New Jersey.
It's like Narnia. Yeah.
Like Narnia. Exactly. It's like Narnia. Just go through the wardrobe and you'll see it. All right. VGG, you've confused Elise Stefanik with Nancy Mace for a few years. No.
I mean, both horrendous.
Both
Just
horrendous.
want to be very clear here.
One is mentally ill. The other is not. I will leave it to you to figure out which one is mentally ill and which one is just a really cold.
Not mentally ill, but like a psycho.
A psycho, yeah.
Well, mentally ill and a psycho. I think Elise Stefanik is a sociopath, and
I think she's a sociopath, but I don't think she's not a cuckoo bird. Like okay.
Yeah.
On that note, before we get into trouble with people who are going to accuse us of being inappropriate towards the mentally ill, we're going to go. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to be at CNN at 7:30 tomorrow morning.
God bless.
Yes. Which means I have to leave my house at 6. So it's going to be a long day. So I still have to write my Substack for tomorrow. So if anybody has
my gosh.
I know. And I still have to write the script for our show for tomorrow.
And I say that we just make tomorrow's show post-election and we go loose and we are going to talk numbers. We're going to talk enthusiasm. We're going to know California by tomorrow, hopefully. If things are going the way that they're going everywhere else. Hopefully we'll know soon. And, that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow, in my opinion. But we can change that or not. I just think that would be easier.
All right, everybody. We will see you in the morning and have a great night, everybody. Go to sleep. Prop 50 I think it's going to be okay.
I think so too.
I'm worried about it. Okay. All right.
All right, everyone. Drink some water, get some sleep. Bye.